Hi guys, my name's Amy Marietta. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, what's up? Today I'm going to talk about my vegan plant-based journey because I get a lot of questions on how I'm plant-based, why I went plant-based. I want to explain it in a longer format because it's something that's really important to me. So that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, so I want to start off by saying I've tried really hard not to be an annoying vegan because I know it doesn't get through to people when you're annoying about it. So I want to come to you with a more understanding view and just explaining why I do it, how it's really changed my life, and how it can really change yours because it's science and there's a lot of science behind it. So I'm going to be answering some commonly asked questions that you guys asked me about being plant-based. Here we go. When and why did I originally become vegan? So in high school, I saw a PETA video. I also saw that video of the dolphins being massacred in Japan, and seeing the visuals of slaughterhouses and the dolphins, it just really made me realize it's weird. I'm not judging people. I don't judge people who eat meat, but I do think it's weird. It's weird to think that you're okay with an animal being raised in a really horrible environment. I'll put links below where you can go see how they're treated in slaughterhouses. It's not humane. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for you. There really just aren't a lot of benefits of eating meat. And the excuse, well, it tastes good. Okay, have you tried Beyond Meat? Have you tried Impossible Burgers? There are so many alternatives these days that I think taste better. Beyond Meat is my favorite. I am obsessed with it and I highly recommend it. So that PETA video just made me look at meat in such a different way and eating animals. I used to love ribs. I loved eating a whole rack of ribs, burgers, like I was a meat eater. I'm Italian and Maltese, so it's always, pastas, meatballs, that kind of thing. And my family ate a lot of meat. But then when I was in about 7th grade, I started to be extremely lactose intolerant. And if you know what that means, you know what I'm saying. I found out in the middle of a soccer practice, and I couldn't eat yogurt after that. So yeah, basically our bodies are not designed to digest dairy that is made, especially in the US, because our milk has so many hormones in it. It causes acne. That's a huge reason why I was breaking out. It caused me acne, obviously stomach indigestion. My whole body just felt like achy. Beyond that, it causes long-term problems. It's been linked to cancer, heart problems, cholesterol problems. There's so many facts that you can go read about it. Your body is your temple. You are what you eat, and the way you feel is directly affected by what you put into your body. So if you're putting in things that are modified, coming from a cow that doesn't like its life, it's in a low vibrational setting, and then you're ingesting that after, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm just gonna insert a photo of a fluffy cow because if you haven't seen one, I just don't know how you could see one of these and then think it's okay to eat it. Did you know that cows cry before they go into the slaughterhouse? That is heartbreaking to me. I'm gonna get too emotional and sad. Another argument that a lot of people have about eating meat is, well, where am I gonna get my protein? Protein shakes, lentils, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and it's not gonna be bad for you. It's not gonna come from a low vibrational setting. So there's really no excuse there. So I started by going pescatarian and really cutting back on meat. Mostly eating salmon as my protein source, and I was still eating sushi. After a couple years in New York City, I went full vegan. So I started really paying attention to everything that I consumed, how it affected my health, my brain, my vibes, and just overall energy. It was a lot of trial and error, trying different foods, seeing how my body reacted to them. And then eventually I found out that I was allergic to dairy. I found that out when I was younger, and then also gluten. And I remember when Miley Cyrus said she was allergic to gluten, and I was like, you just don't want to eat carbs. That can't be real. Internal misogyny that I've gotten rid of. But gluten in America is so bad. In other countries, it doesn't affect me. Like when I was in Italy and I had pizza, I was fine. But here in America, if I have something bloated, so tired for a whole day, it sucks. And to me, it's just not worth having that low energy and shitty feeling for a couple yummy moments. Plant-based food isn't gross. Plant-based food has evolved so much and it's so delicious. I don't know if you follow that amazing woman on TikTok, but she does amazing vegan recipes all the time, and I highly recommend it. Humans are selfish by nature, so let's start out with the benefits that benefit you. I'm gonna read this part because I don't want to mess anything up, and I am not a scientist, and I don't have this all memorized off the top of my head. Vegans have lower risk of obesity, cardiovascular disease, strokes, UTIs, type 2 diabetes, and you can reduce arthritis pain and inflammation. Their blood cholesterol levels are typically 35% lower than meat eaters. They have lower blood sugar levels, and it helps prevent further medical issues from developing. Plant-based diet also reduces your risk of cancer by up to 15%. They typically have lower BMIs, faster metabolisms, more energy, and live 6 to 10 years longer than meat eaters. 6 to 10 years! I lost a little bit of weight when I switched to plant-based. I actually lost a lot of weight. I would say about 10 pounds easily. I wasn't even really trying to lose weight. It was just kind of my lifestyle changing. I stopped drinking alcohol because I went through a period where I was definitely probably drinking too much when I was really unhappy in Miami. I was just living an unhealthy lifestyle, partying a lot, and you could see it in my face. It wasn't cute. And I don't want to go back there. My whole body shape changed when I started eating plant-based. I got more toned, face thinned out, my skin got really glowy, I stopped breaking out. I used to have cystic acne, I got rid of that. And that was causing me a lot of depression when I had really bad skin. I can talk about it now, but I was really messed up. I was super sad, self-conscious, because I had good skin and then I didn't, and then I did and didn't. I did a whole video on how I got clear skin, but going plant-based was a huge factor, along with taking some other supplements that I say in my other video. But yeah, the way my body looks and feels now, I'm just a lot more confident in myself, and it's a lot easier to maintain, and I don't get extremely tired when I eat, which is also a huge difference. And I also never crave anything that's not vegan anymore because there's so many alternatives, and just the way that I feel, I just feel so much better with vegan food. Overall, I'm just a way happier being vegan and plant-based, and I feel like lighter and happier, and I don't know, I can't really explain it. It's just a feeling and I love it. One of the lesser studied areas is how veganism can affect neurobiology and cognitive function. Studies that have focused on this have found mild or moderate improvements when patients afflicted with migraine, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, and rheumatoid arthritis consumed a vegan diet. Moving on to the environment. So the meat and dairy industry are responsible for 60% of global greenhouse gas emissions, according to a 2018 Oxford University study. 60%! 60% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Raising animals for food takes up 45% of the total land. 1 to 2 acres of rainforests are cleared every second, causing habitat loss and species extinction. Livestock production also accounts for over 8% of global water use and is the #1 cause of water pollution worldwide. When you consider that 64% of the world is expected to feel the stress of water shortages by 2025, going vegan just makes sense. From a save the world point of view, because I know a lot of old people who are like very stuck in their ways about eating meat, they don't care because they're gonna be gone, which I think is very messed up. Just be a better person. I really believe in good karma. Karma is so present in every day of our life. It's everything, what you're consuming, to your intentions, to your relationships, to what you're eating, to what you're wearing. So that's why I am very pro thrifting, and I'll put a link to my thrift video where I styled my parents here because it was a good time. And I want to promote thrifting. And here's some really interesting stats for you if you care about the environment. A study by Beyond Meat at the University of Michigan showed that the average American who eats about 3 burgers per week could save the amount of greenhouse gas emissions produced by 12 million cars, just by simply swapping 1 meal a week for something plant-based. 12 million cars! Each person, 1 meal a week. Plant-based meat production uses up to 99% less water, 95% less land, and generates 90% fewer emissions. It takes 27 times more petroleum to produce a hamburger than it does a veggie burger. That's crazy! Those stats are crazy! We just can't keep going at this rate of everyone eating meat. It's not gonna work out. So now I'm gonna get into the animal rights part, which is typically meat eaters' last concern. I try to be as unproblematic and not judgy when it comes to eating meat. But it is really hard for me to understand how someone can watch what happens to the animals and then just be fine eating a hamburger. Like, it doesn't click that the hamburger they ate, it was a poor animal that went through that pain, and then they're just gonna eat it. Like, they just don't care. They don't think that that life mattered. It's disposable to them. And that breaks my heart. I just don't get how someone can watch a documentary like Game Changers, say they're gonna be vegan, and then just like forget about it. It really blows my mind. Like, what isn't clicking? Are you just that selfish? Other lives don't matter to you. Like, another living thing doesn't matter to you. You can call me dramatic, but it's just really hard for me to understand. Like, you watch the whole process of how a hamburger is made farm to table. You see that they pump chickens and cows full of all of these steroids and modifications. You see how poorly they're treated and you're just gonna eat it. I don't know. To me, it seems a little crazy. So for them to call vegans crazy, barbaric. We're not barbarians, cavemen anymore, okay? I hate the idea of something suffering for me to enjoy and for it not to be even be good for me. Like, if you haven't tried Beyond Burger yet, go right now. The best product that they have is the sausage. I'm obsessed with their sausage. It is the best plant-based sausage. The conditions of factory farms are far removed from what they portray in their advertisements. Happy cows come from California. No. I have driven past those. Yes, it's a little bit better than some other situations, but it's horrible. It is the worst smelling part of California you will drive through. It is disgusting. Those cows are not happy. They know that they're gonna die. Yet they're advertising these happy environments. But that's also the beauty of social media, is someone can take a video at one of these places and show people what it's actually like, not what their marketing team is putting together for you to see. Modern factory units, it's all a business. All they do is they produce meat and dairy as quickly as possible for the cheapest way possible. The animals are given the bare minimum to survive. They don't care about the animals' well-being at all. They're crammed into stinky little areas where there's shit all over, disease. Basically, all pork that you eat, those pigs had some type of disease because their living conditions were so bad. I think it was 70%. A lot of diseases, animals, related to animals, eating animals, mistreating animals, trying to modify animals. When are people gonna learn? And I know that society has conditioned us in such a way to where we think it's so normal. We think it's normal, like they have 4-H where kids raise an animal, it's like their pet. They raise a cow and then they just go sell it at 4-H. It's gonna go to the slaughterhouse, and those kids just like, oh, well, that's just a part of life. No. That does not have to be a part of life. That is your life, and it is not normal. You guys know that I am all about vibes and vibrations, and eating animals definitely lowers your vibration because you're eating something that was in a bad situation, sad, killed in fear, pumped full of hormones. And if that doesn't make sense to you, watch my manifesting video, which will link here, because vibrations is what the world runs on. Energy, vibrations, transfer of energy. If that doesn't make sense to you, yeah, just watch my. Now let's talk about propaganda and capitalism and how fucked up America is. Part 5,027,902. I don't know. For years, we were taught that milk is unnecessary. Milk is essential to grow big and strong bones. They paid every celebrity, every athlete to promote milk with the milk mustache. They thought it was so cool. And at the time it was. Those were awesome commercials. And now looking back, I'm just like, oh my. I was so sheltered and couldn't think for myself. They literally made bullshit pyramids of the food groups and all the things we had to eat. And those were literally just made based on what the farmers had in stock. They didn't care at all what your body actually needed. The Got Milk ads. The federal government has helped sustain the dairy industry by convincing people to drink more milk. They recommended 3 servings of dairy a day, despite the fact that 1 in 4 Americans cannot digest milk. They told us that we needed milk for calcium, but we actually get more calcium from foods like broccoli, kale, and black beans. But these foods are at a disadvantage when it comes to competing against dairy. They don't have trade groups giving millions to members of Congress and lobbying for influence over the nation's nutrition policy. I'm so worked up. Another thought that I have daily is, whose idea was it to go and they were like, yeah, let's go drink milk from that cow's boobie. Murderer. You were a psychopath. Whoever thought of that first. Weirdo. It's really fucking gross. The government needed dairy farmers to produce a lot of milk during World War I because they were shipping powdered milk to the soldiers to prevent malnourishment. After the war, the dairy farmers had adjusted by getting rid of other crops and only focusing on dairy production. After the war, they were left with a surplus of dairy, so the government decided to convince Americans that they needed to drink more milk, spending $2 billion on ads each year. They created, can you imagine if they would have put that towards the homeless problem and education? They created the food pyramid and made schools give their students milk. I remember my school forcing us to have milk. It was either you got chocolate or normal milk, and I got normal milk because my mom wanted me to be healthy, and parents thought that that was the healthy option. And now looking back, I'm just so disgusted that they made us drink milk. Ugh. I never even liked it. I remember those milk cartons, and I remember our parents had to pay extra. I went to a private school. I don't know what public schools did, but I'm sure they also made them drink milk. It's just, ugh, I hate it here. But I love it here. But I hate capitalism. It wasn't only Got Milk though. They made deals with McDonald's, pizza companies that convinced you needed a pizza with 4 different types of cheeses on it. And all of these advertisements had to be approved by the government. And a little side note, I know some people really pride themselves on being meat eaters, but it doesn't make you cool to eat meat. It's like, it's not a thing. I know maybe you thought at some point in your life, like, oh, it's really cool to eat all types of meat, but no, it's just fucking weird. Okay, so stop it. It doesn't make you more manly. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I was snitching because this is something that's really important to me and it's really messed up and it's an industry I'm in. So I have, you know, the other side of the story. So a lot of, like, Got Milk has been trying to bring back their Got Milk campaign, and meat industries, meat brands, whatever, are trying to work with influencers to promote eating more meat, especially during the holidays and things. And first of all, if you look at my page, you know that I'm vegan. Like, if you follow me, you know I'm vegan, I'm plant-based. And so it's like offensive when they reach out because, like, no. You know, I could just do it for a check, but I don't stand for that. I don't want a world where that's okay and we have to start with ourselves. The change starts with us. The change starts small. So me saying no to a check if it's, you know, promoting something I don't believe in is the first step. And I encourage you to do the same. Plus, I think that meat brands and the dairy industry just need to, like, cut it out. Like, Gen Z is very much more aware than, you know, boomers are. And millennials, Gen Z, like, we're all waking up and we're not just little sheep. Good to follow all of these, like, you know, diet things that you say are good for us, even though science says otherwise. So, suck it. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something and I'll see you next week. Bye.